Prince, the Purple Revolution. His life, his music, his legacy. Few artists in music history left a legacy as electrifying, complex, and genre-defying as Prince. Prince Rogers Nelson redefined what it meant to be a musician, performer, and cultural provocateur. Blending funk, rock, pop, soul, R&B, and jazz, sometimes in a single song, he stood apart from his peers. A virtuosic instrumentalist, powerhouse vocalist, and visionary producer, Prince didn't just push boundaries, he erased them. Over nearly 4 decades, he released more than 30 studio albums and wrote countless songs for himself and others. His flamboyant, androgynous image challenged gender norms, and his fearless sexuality sparked admiration and controversy. From the guitar heroics of Purple Rain to the unstoppable groove of Kiss and the defiant Sign of the Times, Prince's catalog remains a testament to limitless creativity. Prince wasn't just a pop star, he was a phenomenon. His groundbreaking tours, cinematic projects, and battles for artistic freedom made him a champion of independence. Even after his death in 2016, his music, style, and message continue to inspire. In this biography, we'll explore Prince's Minneapolis roots, his rise to superstardom, his revolutionary collaborations, and the creative transformations that kept him an icon for decades. Early life and influences. Prince Rogers Nelson was born on June 7, 1958, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to a musical family. His father, John L. Nelson, was a jazz pianist and songwriter, and his mother, Mattie Della Shaw, a jazz singer. They named their son after the Prince Rogers Trio, his father's stage name. Surrounded by music from birth, Prince developed an early fascination with rhythm and melody that soon exploded into genius. Growing up on Minneapolis's North Side, he showed precocious talent, teaching himself piano at 7, then mastering guitar and drums. His parents' separation deeply affected him, driving him to pour emotion into music. Prince split time between his parents before finding a second home with neighbors, the Andersons, whose son Andre, later Andre Simone, became his first collaborator. Minneapolis, far from industry centers, gave Prince freedom to develop a sound all his own, blending James Brown's funk, Hendrix's guitar fire, Sly Stone's psychedelic soul, and Stevie Wonder's versatility. In high school, Prince formed bands like Grand Central and Champaign with Andre, honing his stage presence and experimental style. By his teens, he was already a local prodigy, driven by relentless focus and ambition to change popular music and conquer the world. Early career and breakthrough. By the late 1970s, Prince was determined to launch a solo career. At only 18, he had already recorded a demo tape with Andre Simone and other local musicians. His incredible skill on multiple instruments caught the attention of Minneapolis businessman Owen Husney, who became his manager. Husney recognized Prince's potential and helped him land a major label contract with Warner Brothers Records in 1977, an astonishing achievement for such a young, relatively unknown artist. Even more remarkable, Prince negotiated creative control of his music, a rare feat for a newcomer. In 1978, Prince released his debut album, For You. Though the album charted modestly, it was an impressive showcase of his multi-instrumental talent. He played every single instrument on the record himself, a hint of his future perfectionist approach. The lead single, Soft and Wet, made it into the Billboard Hot 100, giving Prince his first national exposure. His next album, Prince, 1979, catapulted him into the spotlight. With hits like I Wanna Be Your Lover, it went platinum and established him as a rising star. Prince's flamboyant style, sexual confidence, and refusal to be categorized drew attention from fans and critics alike. He pushed boundaries even further with Dirty Mind, 1980, a bold, provocative album that blurred lines between rock, funk, and new wave. Its explicit themes sparked controversy, but also built a loyal following of listeners who admired Prince's willingness to break taboos. Controversy, 1981, continued this streak, showcasing Prince's growing social commentary alongside his musical experimentation. But it was 1999, 1982, that made him a true superstar. Packed with hits like Little Red Corvette and the apocalyptic party anthem 1999, the album reached multi-platinum status and took Prince's sound to stadium-sized audiences. As Prince evolved, so did his live shows. He earned a reputation for electrifying, sexually charged, high-energy concerts that showcased his jaw-dropping musical skill and dynamic stage presence. By the early 1980s, Prince had transitioned from local prodigy to a full-fledged phenomenon, ready to redefine the music industry on his own terms. The Purple Rain, 1980 Superstardom. By 1984, Prince's legend exploded with the release of Purple Rain, both the album and its accompanying feature film. Purple Rain was more than a record. It was a cultural phenomenon. The album soared to #1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for an astonishing 24 consecutive weeks. It included some of his most iconic songs, like When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, and the epic title track Purple Rain. Altogether, the album sold over 25 million copies worldwide and cemented Prince as one of the most important artists of his generation. The Purple Rain film, a semi-autobiographical drama, showcased Prince's charisma on the big screen and won him an Academy Award for Best Original Song Score. He became a symbol of 1980s music and fashion, with his flamboyant style, ruffled shirts, eyeliner, and unforgettable purple wardrobe inspiring millions. Prince didn't slow down after Purple Rain. His next albums, Around the World in a Day, 1985, and Parade, 1986, showed his fearlessness in pushing creative limits, experimenting with psychedelic sounds and orchestral arrangements. Kiss from Parade became another #1 smash, driven by its funky minimalism and Prince's cheeky falsetto. In 1987, Sign of the Times delivered yet another masterpiece. Mixing social commentary with pure musical brilliance, it produced hits like You Got the Look and If I Was Your Girlfriend. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest albums of all time, praising Prince's boundless imagination and daring approach. During this Purple Rain, Prince's live shows were legendary. His 1980s tours, from the Purple Rain Tour to Sign of the Times, became the stuff of concert folklore, blending choreography, storytelling, and jaw-dropping musicianship into a single, unforgettable package. At the height of the 80s, Prince was more than a superstar. He was a revolutionary. His ability to seamlessly merge genres, challenge social norms, and turn taboo subjects into chart-topping hits made him one of the most influential artists the world has ever seen. He truly defined what it meant to be an icon. Famous collaborations and protégés. Beyond his solo triumphs, Prince was also a master collaborator who lifted other artists to stardom through his songwriting and production. One of the most notable protégés was Sheila E., a powerhouse percussionist and singer. Prince wrote and co-produced her hit The Glamorous Life, 1984, propelling her into the spotlight. Their chemistry on stage was electric, with Sheila often joining Prince on tour to deliver fiery drum solos and duets that thrilled audiences. Another major protégé was Morris Day and The Time. Prince essentially assembled the band, writing and producing much of their early work, including hits like Jungle Love and The Bird. Their funky, party-ready sound carried Prince's musical DNA while carving out a unique niche in the Minneapolis scene. Apollonia 6, originally Vanity 6 before a lineup change, also carried Prince's signature style. With their provocative lyrics and catchy hooks, these girl groups mirrored the blend of sexuality and fun that Prince perfected. Nasty Girl, released under Vanity 6, remains a dance floor favorite. Prince also co-wrote Manic Monday for the Bangles, a huge hit in 1986 that showcased his knack for infectious pop beyond his own albums. Other songwriting triumphs included Sinead O'Connor's cover of Nothing Compares to You, originally written by Prince for the family. O'Connor's heart-wrenching rendition became a global smash in 1990, introducing new audiences to Prince's songwriting brilliance. His collaborations reached legendary heights, with icons like Stevie Nicks, who once described how awestruck she felt working alongside Prince. In 1983, she was inspired by his groove on Little Red Corvette to write Stand Back, and Prince even laid down uncredited synthesizer parts for her track. Through these partnerships, Prince wasn't just a performer, but a creative force who expanded possibilities for countless other musicians. He nurtured talent, shared his genius, and left a mark on their careers that rippled through pop, rock, and R&B. Prince's collaborative spirit was more than business. It was a mission to spread his musical revolution. By empowering others, he extended his legacy far beyond what even he alone could have achieved. Musical evolution and reinvention in the 1990s. As the 1990s dawned, Prince refused to rest on past triumphs. Instead, he began a decade of reinvention. In 1991, he released Diamonds and Pearls with his new backing band, the New Power Generation, NPG. The album included hits like Cream and the infectious title track, showcasing a sleeker, more contemporary blend of R&B and pop. With the NPG, Prince shifted away from the psychedelic funk of the 80s and embraced hip-hop influences, proving he could evolve with the times. Yet Prince's most headline-grabbing moment of the decade was not musical, but symbolic. In 1993, frustrated with his Warner Brothers contract, he changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol, often called the love symbol. This bold move, coupled with the word slave scrawled on his cheek during performances, was a protest against what he saw as the exploitation of artists by record labels. It became one of the most famous acts of rebellion in music history and sparked years of legal battles that fascinated the public. During this period, Prince continued to release prolific music, including The Gold Experience, 1995, and Emancipation, 1996, an ambitious 3-disc project celebrating his newfound freedom from Warner Brothers. These albums demonstrated that while the industry tried to limit him, Prince's creativity remained unstoppable. He continued to tour globally, dazzling crowds with marathon concerts that spanned decades of hits. Prince was no nostalgia act. He constantly reimagined old songs with fresh arrangements and kept challenging himself on stage. His 1990s legacy also included collaborations, from working with Rosie Gaines and Mady Garcia, his then-wife, to mentoring young Minneapolis musicians. Prince showed that even amid legal and commercial turmoil, he never lost sight of sharing and expanding his vision. While many 80s megastars struggled to adapt, Prince transformed, proving once again he was far more than a trend. The 1990s cemented him as a musical chameleon, fearless in defending his art, reshaping his career on his own terms, and inspiring a new generation of artists to fight for their independence. Later, career, tours, and activism. As the 2000s arrived, Prince embraced a new chapter marked by independence and innovation. No longer bound by major label restrictions, he explored direct-to-fan distribution and internet releases long before they were mainstream. Albums like Musicology, 2004, and 3121, 2006, proved that Prince's commercial and creative fire still burned bright. Musicology in particular was a triumph, spawning a hugely successful tour and introducing his legacy to a younger generation. Prince continued to tour relentlessly, putting on shows that were part concert, part spiritual revival. His 2007 Super Bowl halftime show is still considered one of the greatest of all time, electrifying a rain-soaked Miami crowd with a medley that included Purple Rain performed in a downpour, as if the heavens themselves were paying tribute. Beyond the stage, Prince grew more vocal about artists' rights and ownership. He was an early advocate of protecting intellectual property in the digital age, warning fellow musicians of exploitative streaming practices. His battles, first with record labels, then with emerging tech companies, made him a champion for creators worldwide. Prince also grew more publicly engaged in social and humanitarian causes. He donated to educational initiatives, supported charities fighting domestic violence, and quietly gave millions to communities in need. In Baltimore in 2015, following the death of Freddie Gray, Prince performed a benefit concert and released Baltimore, a song calling for peace and justice. Musically, Prince never stopped innovating. He continued performing marathon sets that spanned rock, soul, funk, and jazz, sometimes playing small club shows until sunrise. Younger artists, from Beyoncé to Janelle Monáe, cited him as an enduring mentor and inspiration. Prince's later years revealed a man still in command of his gifts, who remained fiercely loyal to his beliefs about freedom, art, and truth. His uncompromising approach inspired countless musicians to claim ownership of their work and protect their legacies. Even as the industry evolved, Prince showed that an artist could thrive on their own terms, proving once again why he wasn't just a pop star, he was a revolutionary. Prince's legacy and final years. In his final decade, Prince remained as enigmatic and unstoppable as ever. He continued to release music through unconventional means, favoring independent distribution and surprise drops. Albums like Hit and Run, Phase 1, 2015, and Hit and Run Phase 2, 2015, showcased that his creativity was still boundless, blending modern production with classic Prince funk and soul. Prince also embraced intimate performances in his later years, holding piano and a microphone shows that stripped away all the spectacle, leaving only his voice, his songs, and his raw emotion. These concerts reminded fans that underneath the showman was a profound artist with a deep connection to his music. On April 21, 2016, the world was stunned by Prince's unexpected passing at his Paisley Park estate in Chanhassen, Minnesota. The cause was determined to be an accidental overdose of fentanyl. News of his death sent shockwaves around the globe, prompting tributes from world leaders, fellow musicians, and millions of fans whose lives he had touched. The public gathered at impromptu memorials, painting the streets in purple and blasting his greatest hits in a celebration of his remarkable life. Landmarks from the Eiffel Tower to the Empire State Building glowed purple in his honor. Prince's influence continues to ripple through the music world. His fight for artist rights inspired countless musicians to challenge industry norms, and his genre-defying catalog still fuels DJs, filmmakers, and playlist curators to this day. From rock to funk, to pop to soul, Prince's music transcended categories, and his legacy continues to break down barriers. His estate has since worked to preserve his archives and celebrate his genius, opening Paisley Park as a museum where fans can walk through the world he created. Each year, celebrations of his life and work continue to keep his spirit alive, ensuring new generations discover his brilliance. Prince left behind more than music. He left a blueprint for courage, reinvention, and the power of authentic self-expression. Decades from now, people will still be dancing to his songs, inspired by his fearless artistry, and remembering the man who proved there were truly no limits. Conclusion and reflection. Prince Rogers Nelson was more than a pop star. He was a creative hurricane who smashed every boundary and label that tried to contain him. From his teenage days on the Minneapolis scene, it was clear he would change the world. His vast, daring body of work blended rock, funk, soul, jazz, and pop into a style entirely his own. Through collaborations that launched careers and gave others courage, and through a fearless fight for artistic control, Prince demanded ownership of his music, his name, and his legacy. Prince stood for freedom, creative, artistic, personal, and spiritual. Even as audiences and trends shifted, he never followed. He led. His music became the soundtrack to countless lives, woven into weddings, heartbreaks, parties, and protests. His death in 2016 left a silence that felt impossible to fill. But Paisley Park still stands as a monument to his genius. Fans continue to gather there, drawn by his fearless spirit. Prince's battles for artistic freedom ignited a new era of musicians unwilling to be exploited. That may be his greatest gift. There may never be another quite like him. Prince will always be the artist who showed us what it means to be truly free.